Well, hello there. This is Louis, aka Louis the French Manette, and you're watching Schmoedown Night in Canada. On with me for this episode is none other than my man, Mr. Soda. How are you doing today?
Good, Lou. It seems like it's been a while since it's just been you and me, eh?
I know, right? First of all, I put this jersey in honor of you, sir. Eh?
Thank you very
Old,
much. And
old.
I've got to represent my Canucks.
There you go. Where are you at in series? I lost touch.
Tie series right now. As of
Okay.
today, it's tie series.
All right. I hope they lose now. My team lost. Your team's gonna lose too, sir.
Hey, man. At least we can say we took out the defending Stanley Cup champions.
We just lost to Philadelphia. What do you want me to say? But yeah, man. Let's go in. But before we go into actually, by the way, if you're not subscribed, what you doing? Subscribe. Click that button. Every week we get more and more interesting content. More Schmoedown evolves, more we evolve. So be in the know. That being said, let's get into it. Let's start with the first match of the week. The what the hell happened there?
Oh, the bracket buster, man.
Now I have a question for you to start off. If let's say it's Riley, right? And Nemiroff is able to beat Riley again. Is she the new legend killer?
No.
No.
I'd say maybe she beats one more legend after that. Yes.
Okay, and if you haven't watched a match, why are you watching this? So we're gonna go deep into spoilers. But do you think it's KO that lost it for this one, or do you think Nemiroff beat him?
I think KO beat himself, because if you look going into round 3 from round 2, he had this look on his face like he was frustrated about something. And I think at that moment, he got a little into his own head.
Yeah, and that happens. He doesn't go full, my favorite player on the planet, Snyder, and just like almost flips the table and gives up. But there is that vein of, he defeats himself and he doesn't pass forward as he should. His record kind of reflects that, right? It's now he's batting for 500. He's either a hit or miss in singles. Singles is obviously not his strong suit, and he might need to have a teammate to push him back up in those moments that he feels down. He needs maybe his counterpart to pick up the slack, and then next they're winning, right? In singles, there's nowhere to hide, and it kind of shows with KO.
Yeah, honestly, I thought he would do better, but this was kind of hard getting back to the KO of old. When he was, oh God, what was his old nickname? No, I guess from when he was the killer, it's just there was something off. I don't know if maybe there was a little bit of fatigue there because he just went to the finals of the European Championship, just won the team titles. So that might have played into it a little bit. Maybe he wasn't expecting Perry to do as well. Like there's many different factors, but there was that moment, like I said, where it looked like he got into his own head.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing you can do. You would think though, with like a season, now he's not a rookie. He's not even like a year two. He's a seasoned player. You would think by now he would have, worked on not getting his own heads. You've seen certain players really evolve and have a more solid composure. He doesn't seem to have that. Even it's been in a couple of seasons now. Why?
Well, well, here's the thing. We're all human. We can work on anything, on plenty of things, no matter what, but we will always slip into old habits. That's just the way it is. Like you can improve yourself to the point where you know how to not get in your own head, and then all of a sudden something will happen that'll trigger it, and that's it. I speak from experience on that, not playing in matches or whatever, but trying to better myself, and then all of a sudden something happens and you're back to square one.
Yeah, and I hope he's able to bounce back and not linger. Yeah, he will. But it's like probably next time we'll see him is in teams, right? I just hope I just hope that he's gonna do it fast enough for not to sink Chance, because Chance is on a roll.
Mm-hmm.
Even though another nail biter, but he's still on a roll. He's winning. He's bringing corruption points. He's right now, as we stand, more valuable to corruption than KO himself right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think he's corruption's best player at the moment?
By far,
hands down.
by
hands
far.
Down.
No, actually, I think the best player is Shannon's mouth.
Yeah, man, her and Roxy. That's for later on, but her and Roxy, holy shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. She kind of is another player of the team, because she really seems to be able to get into her opponent's head, in her manager's head, and their manager's head. Her presence seems to just shake up things, right? So even though she's not playing, she seems to be contributing to really give the openings to their players to, nail even more. That being said,
that's the thing. Like, I think her and Winston are the two managers who benefited the most from this format change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
where, like you said, so you see them more get into other people's heads, and they're more on screen, and their presence and their character comes out more. So yeah, I think definitely I benefited the most from this.
Yeah, and now let's talk about Nemiroff here. First of all, actually, before talking about Nemiroff, Koi Janju, when she won, he looked like he was in a desert. He finally found water. It's like,
we won a game.
And God bless him, or whatever you believe in, bless him, because he's really trying his best. It's not turning out at all like he planned.
No.
A bit like they're like a bit Dungeon Lake right now. Like, when they get a win, they're like, thank God we're not gonna die tomorrow. Now, another day of trying to find water. So it's Koi's on that route. But who would have thought Nemiroff is the one that brought them points? And if she's able to beat and go in the next round, Nemiroff is the savior of the of the faction. Who would have thunk?
Yeah, who knew? And it's like, because I remember Perry in her last go round. Which, speaking of which, I thought it was a little weird that they had debuted by her name, because I know she's competed in singles matches in the past, but that's another thing. I definitely think her having Koi in her corner definitely benefited her, gave her the more confidence, and played the game a little bit better. And it's a different Perry Nemiroff than we saw in the past when she was on Tough Beats and back at that time.
Yeah, and also as it was mentioned in the preview trailer, let's say, of the match, these exhibition matches really shaped her into someone that's more confident in matches, which is funny to think. You would think like, oh, you would have to compete all the time, but she probably just saw it as it was fun, right? And she's a bit competitive, but she's not good enough. But more you start doing better in exhibitions, more you probably get a fire up your ass and be like, I'm able to do this. And I'm sure she had the time to study, or she just got lucky. But her confidence showed a lot more this time. And I think it's because of exhibitions.
Yeah, hands down. And also, you said the word that was repeated a lot between her and Koi, fun. And honestly, once you have fun doing things like this, you can strategize all in the world. But once you start having fun, that's usually when you play your best.
Yeah, and it really depends on who she faces and how lucky she gets. Because although she was a bit complaining, her spinning monster movies it's horror, right? It's still probably not her favorite horror type.
Yeah.
But she still got lucky in the sense that she can ballpark some stuff and get points that she might have lost if she would have got, I don't know, musicals,
Yeah, but monster movies, it's kind of a broad category, because, I mean, like, you could be, like, monster movies like Universal 1930s, like we saw with the Wolfman Question, which I'm actually surprised she didn't get. And then you got on the other spectrum, like the kaiju movies. Like, monster movies could be any which way. It could even be, like, you never know. It could be like human monsters or whatever, right?
Yeah, but it's still there's more probabilities you have horror question related stuff, so you still narrow your misses.
And also, what helped is this is one of the first times that category has been asked. So, I mean, you are going to get the less like a lower level question at the beginning. So that probably helped her too.
Yeah, and the shock that she had, like the shock of everyone's face, and the defeat. Hey, again, Dan, I'm sorry I have to do this, but I'm not mad. I'm happy he lost. I'm officially anti-corruption. Someone has to be on this show.
Yeah.
So I'm anti-corruption. Bring it on, Dan. But I love seeing him being defeated. It was fun. It was like, yes, you guys are not gonna dominate the league, and it's leave place to other people. And you guys had your shot. Mike, I love you, bro, but it's time for someone new.
Yeah, no, I'm with you in the same boat, but I do not hate corruption. But no, I am with you. It is nice to see we're going to see fresh blood, and that's I'm kind of liking it to the NHL playoffs currently. Like I said, I'm a big Canucks fan. It's kind of nice to see them doing what they're doing because you wouldn't have expected them to make it to the second round to defeat the defending Stanley Cup champions. I kind of like the underdog story myself. So I'm interested to see how far Perry will go with this.
Yeah, and this was, I know his last two matches, very underdog oriented,
Yeah.
And goes to show that anything's possible in any given day, right? Now, who are the two possibilities for Nemiroff? You got Riley and who again?
Oh, God, I don't remember. I'm not the stat guy. I honestly don't know.
All right, well, in that case, we skipped that question. But let's say it's Riley, right? And she's able.
This is what happens when Dave is not around.
Yeah, Dave, I need you, man. I need a hug. No, no, but even if she goes against Riley, I like. At what point is she gonna surprise? Because before Ace, I'd be like, no, there's no chance. But Ace rewrote the expectation game in tournaments.
Yeah.
No one would have, and if you did, you should have put money on it. Predicted he would win right off the bat and get better every time. Now that depends on Perry Nemiroff. Is she going to be happy just staying how she is now and hope she gets a category that's good, or is she going to be competitive enough and driven enough to always advance every step like Ace did? If she is, that's going to be beautiful to see. I don't personally think she will, though.
Me neither, but it also all depends on how on the managing tactics. Like again with hockey, because I know hockey. Every year, the teams try to replicate the winners of the previous season. So I can definitely see managers trying to figure their own way to replicate what happened with Ace, and Perry would be the prime candidate for that because nobody saw her come. Nobody saw this happening. Nobody saw her coming.
You see, as much as I don't want to contradict myself, I am going to contradict myself. Like, I think there might be a potential player to do that. I don't think it's Nemiroff. I actually think it's Adam Collins.
Okay.
I really think there's something about his last match that kind of like reminded me a bit of when I was watching Ace win his first thing. You see he wasn't happy with himself and he could probably do better. And there was this drive. Perry Nemiroff was just surprised to be there almost.
So the Schmoedown Participation Award.
It's almost like it's like when the sniper won a match. No one was expecting it. It was like the whole like what the hell happened. It was cool to see, but then you put him against another opponent, and is he gonna get lucky again? Right? Nemiroff, if she does it, I'll eat my words. But there is potential, not her. Either Collins or Marcel McKee, I think, are going to be very interesting to watch. To see.
Now the thing is with Perry is because it has been a few years since she's played. She's definitely watched a lot more movies, got deeper into the movie sphere since then. A lot of things have changed with her. So she surprised everybody with this, but I wouldn't be surprised if she gets out another win.
Yes, but what's missing, in my opinion, is that killer edge. The thing, like with Ace, like I said, he's serious, right? There's something. I think the more you advance, more she would get nervous. You kind of need like the contrary. The more you advance, the more you like kind of see the target, and you're like, you're on point. I don't see her doing that or having that capacity right now. I think she's just, an interesting character to see on screen. She won Babyface of the Year, right? So she is loved. But it's like you said, it's been so long she was away from the game. Look at how the game evolved, right? I kind of feel like that Paranarov we saw, she wasn't in the 30 points or like very high points either, right? So, she is a player of the old going back to game of the new. And you got like a lot of like players that are new that take it seriously, that has their own routines to study. So unless she's willing to adapt and go forwards into that type of style playing, we talked about me and Brendan. I'm not sure when it's going to come out, before or after this episode, but we kind of came to the conclusion that there's two types of styles of players. You got your book smarts and you got your street smarts. And Nemiroff is a book smarts. She, instead of reading, but she watches a lot of movie. There's a lot of knowledge. And now you got your street smarts, which is like Oyama. He's been in the fan leagues. He knows how to strategize. He knows the in and outs of how, when, and why certain situations. And that's street smarts. And I tend to value a bit more the street smart players right now because they're the one that seems to be winning.
Okay, fair enough. I think when it comes to the parry, it essentially comes down to Koi is really what it is with me. Is how well he can manage it, maybe bring out that killer instinct.
Yeah, and look, we will never know in advance what's going to happen. This is why it makes it an amazing tournament, because we can all speculate all we want. Next thing you know, Koi Jando just won the whole thing because everyone started winning. So look, we don't know what's going to happen, and that's the beauty of Schmoedown. Talking about not knowing what's going to happen. Wow. Next match. Who would have thunk?
No kidding, eh? We almost had Corruption's top two hitters out in the first round after they went to the finals of the Intergeekdom. Nobody would have seen that coming.
Yeah, and before we go into the players, and this probably won't be popular, but Roxy is transforming into a manager that I really don't like.
Yeah, you're not alone. I'm with you on that. Nothing against her personally.
Yeah, there's something about, understanding the situation and being positive, and then just having like, putting your head in the hole and be like, there's no problem, yet there's a lion behind you, Yeah, she was proud of her players and everything, but she kept going higher and higher in her hype, and it's just like, let go. You can do better. You have to understand that to do better. I think she's digging herself in a hole right now.
Yeah, the way she was going after Chance at the end of the match, like, yeah, he wasn't perfect in that round, but he still did pretty good. Like, just calling him a loser and stuff, it's like, I understand you're trying to get in their head, but after a few moments, it kind of got a little grating. Like I said, I do love Roxy. There is nothing against her. It's just after a while, it's like, okay, ease off.
Yeah, and she I don't know if it's her character, if she got like, be this way, and then she's going with the notes, or she's freestyling, or this is really her going after Shannon because they might really not like each other. It's not just kayfabe. I don't know. But whatever it is, I was rooting for you, Rox. I was rooting for your player, Del Rio, because again, I'm anti-corruption. I don't want them to win. But at the end, I was kind of hoping Chance would win because I was like, you're kind of losing me. So that's not good when you start a match and then you flip it just because of the manager.
Yeah, she lost me in the post game.
Yeah. Now it's gonna be interesting if Harloff addresses it, because you said you're not the only one. No, is there a lot of backlash right now you saw on the social medias, or just us griping?
I have noticed. One comment that I saw was, what was it? Somebody said she's gone from like a good happy to like a weird happy or something like that. It's just she's kind of like, yeah, it's just kind of become a weird manager, especially when she's against corruption, because she's always focusing on Mike, and even when he's not around, yeah, he was walking in the background on the interview, but I don't know. It's just whenever corruption's involved, she becomes really, really weird.
Yeah, again, we don't know the backstories of everything. But she although that weird happy kind of fits with Snyder,
Yeah.
It is what it is, I guess. But there's an evolution to her character, which I would hope they would reel back and go back to the her of old, because I prefer that. And
no, here's the thing. It's like I said, like she's only like that when it's corruption. When she's against any other faction, she's definitely the Roxy of old. It's just when she's facing corruption.
Okay, so that case, Shannon must really know how to push her buttons.
Yeah,
she okay. And
good it's either that or Roxy's really trying to hype up the split that happened a couple of years ago, and it's not really working.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you know what? Maybe that is it. And look, it could be an interesting storyline, but yeah, if it's force fed down our throats, and it's not necessarily it's believable, but after a while, if I'm siding with Shannon with her comments, and I would never thought I would side with Shannon, that's a problem. Now that being said,
you're supposed to be the face of the two, right?
Exactly. And Shannon almost felt like the face at a certain point, like she was defending herself in her honor, and which for me was odd. It's a flipper reversal of roles, which I was not expecting. But one thing that kept flip-flopping as well was the scores. Wow, Del Rio, honestly, if you're watching this, probably not. I forgot who you were. I'm like, oh, this rookie, and then like I saw his things, like 1, 2. Holy shit, Del Rio. Okay.
Yeah.
I completely forgot who he was.
I did, but I forgot how good he was.
Yeah. Like I can't remember all these matches, so I couldn't tell you if he's good or not. Yeah. But seeing this match, you are underrated. You are the definition of underrated.
Mm-hmm.
He really deserves another shot. I hope we see him in somewhat form of a team. I don't know who you can put if you already have available rosters, but that was, if he would have won, I think a lot of people would have talked to potential Ace Cabrera type of thing, or another rookie, surprising and can go far. For someone who I can't remember at all, out of my radar to 100% on my radar now, it's impressive.
Yeah, and Harloff really hit it on the head. He's kind of in the Chance slot right now, where Chance would always come against really good players, and he would have the ability to win, but he was always just lose by that much. And yeah, he's right. David is in that category. I just want to give a shout out to his mate that kept walking around in the background. I love that. Yeah.
Hey, it's just, you gotta do it when you gotta do it, right? Sometimes there's baby cartoons being played right now. Life happens, and sometimes you just have to roll with it. But yeah, there is this calmness about him I liked. Again, I'm going to reference a bit to Ace, but usually when you have the 5-pointer, people will be like, oh, great, I'll try. Or like, yes. Or like, oh. Him was like, his 5-pointer, and he's like this. It did not faze him. He was focused in. He really seemed to kind of click. I don't know, again, if he clicked or not, because I can't remember him. But he kind of clicked, and I think he's maybe one to watch next year if he keeps evolving like this, and dare I say, maybe get a different manager.
Yeah, and as we saw, they were kind of hinting at that, where they were trying to recruit David into corruption, which that would be interesting.
Corruption would be interesting. I'm trying to think who. Like, I actually see him with the FinSocket change.
Yeah, you know what? Based on his comments in the pre interview, yeah, he would definitely fit in there. So he's talking about having the best stuff or whatever. Yeah, he definitely would fit in well with Gucci.
Yeah, I just see something like Gucci with his freaking whatever he has in his hands, and talking to him and being mentored by, like, let's say, Bateman, a barbarian. You put Del Rio barbarian in a team. Wow, So there's so much more I think he can get, because right now Roxy is not performing and kind of disappointing with this time. So I don't know where she's going or how she's matching her players, but it didn't seem to. Okay, dare I say, again, nothing against, but as a manager, as someone been managed in my life, sometimes you can see the employees you can give all the right speeches and all the motivation, but if the player doesn't believe it, or if the worker doesn't believe it, it's words in the wind, right? And it doesn't impact them. It didn't seem to impact him like that much when she kept going on, like being the positive. You can see in his head, it was like, but I still lost,
Yeah. Yeah, it's at that point. It's at that point, like you said, when it's all words in the wind. It's at that point where they fire the coach and bring in a new one, right?
Yeah, and we'll see what gives. I hope Roxy the best of luck, but so far she's really not doing it for me. Prove me wrong. If you're watching this, I'm honored. Prove me wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, curse at me a couple of times. I'll be also honored because that's awesome. But right now, I think you guys are not, for the fact, like, a couple of things, there is risk taken and not fully rewarded. Having Snyder and Draco in the top picks, they're not performing. Having JTE, being drafted when we don't even know what's going on with that, was another miscalculation. And now you're
honestly, that one though, COVID threw the wrench in the whole thing. Because she drafted him for the Boston Live event that was supposed to happen. That's what that was. When they did the drafting, they didn't expect what's going on right now.
Now, would Jericho being an absolute beast at movie trivia be a redemption for her though?
Yeah, it could be. Would show, I don't know how often you can compete, but it would definitely show that she does have a major stud in her stable.
And it happens to be a multimillionaire wrestler, which is awesome.
And he's good in everything he does. He's like one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. He's the frontman of a really good rock band. He's a best-selling author. Like, he's good at what he does. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's really good at movie trivia also.
Yeah, and we shall see. I think Kevin's might as well run into that a bit. I think Kevin Smith is playing on purpose to undersell himself. I love his style. Like, I don't know if you've seen.
That's his shtick. That's his shtick. He always makes fun of himself. He's always the first to crack a joke at himself. That's just who he is.
But I love it. You expect him to be sucky now, and then next you know, it's like, but by the way, I know Bruce Willis finally. I know this. And I did see this last week, So I can't wait to see that side. And I can't wait to see how Chris Jericho, yes, he's a wrestler, he has prestance, but is going to be just the Chris Jericho, or is going to try to do something different? Is Harloff going to milk it, right? So
I think we're going to see the real life Chris Jericho with just a little bit of Le Champion in there, just a little bit of his wrestling character, because he is a showman. But I think we're mostly going to see Chris Jericho himself.
All right, and I can't wait to see because he's going to need coaching. I mean, unless he binge watch the whole thing, Roxy's going to really need to know and instruct him on the strategies. Lo and behold, might be one of those people you explain once, like say he's good at everything. You explain once, he's got the strategy, he can navigate it right off the bat. If that's the case, he really is a shining star. And that's the sucky thing. How many matches is he going to play, right? You have that celebrity match, cool. But if next season, let's say you put him in the free agents, is he going to play once a year? Is it worth it? Even though he's your best player, that kind of actually makes it sad,
Yeah, and there's one thing about Chris Jericho. He's definitely a risk taker. I mean, the guy tried to do a cha-cha to Hey Jude on Dancing with the Stars. He's not afraid of anything.
Yeah.
Not that I watched Dancing with the Stars. I read that in his book.
I have nothing against either. I like ice skating and I like curling, so we all have our odd stuff. Yeah, I'm obsessed with curling. Don't ask me why.
Wow, you people really do exist.
It's like when it's Winter Olympics, man. The first thing I watch is when is the curling? I don't know why. Everyone finds it odd. I find it as a really strange.
The only time I've ever liked curling was watching the movie Men with Brooms.
I discovered that curling has the hottest women in all Olympics. There's something about curling. Oh yeah, surprisingly, yeah. And this is not MILF talk. This is Schmoedown.
Yeah,
so.
I'm personally a fan of the female hockey players. That's just me. I've had a lifelong crush on Cassie Campbell.
Although if we're going that vein, I always had a thing for rugby girls, but that's just me. You have to beat your butt. Anyways, I can hear Dave complaining, saying, "What are you doing?" So so we will move forward. But yeah, it's a hell of a week. I can't wait to see where it goes off again next week. And again, I can't wait to see the throwdown going on. There's a lot of questions going to be asked or answered, I should say, that I've had in my head for a long time, and since we revealed who the superstar players are.
Yeah,
man. And the other thing I wanted to touch right before we end, when is Doug Benson going in then? Like, where do you plug him?
I know, right? Like, that would have been an interesting one. If it wasn't Jericho, it would have been fun to see Benson versus Smith battle of the Stoners.
Or three-way.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I don't know where you would plug Benson in. I really don't. Because I mean, like, he's a live crowd person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he really is. But in that case, like, do you put him as a contender in, like, let's say, teams? Is he available to do that much? Because yes, he's a star, but he's no Chris Jericho. He's no Kevin Smith. No. He's the guy that has a show about weed, on YouTube, and has a documentary. So he might have more free time. If he's okay or doable in a team, do you think we'll see him, or we'll just see him in another throwdown? You use him, then you throw him out. Like Chris
I think
Jericho.
We're going to see him in a throwdown, but I think he's going to probably be singles more than teams.
Okay. All right. And who's he with again? I keep forgetting.
My mind wants to say Suspects, but I think I'm wrong on that.
You know what? That actually would make sense. But again, I'm probably going to get a earful with Dave. Like, no, it was this. What are you doing without me? So that being said, we're not going to embarrass, Mr. Dave too long. I think it pretty much concludes the episode, unless there's things you wanted to.
No, it was a good showing from both Perry and David Del Rio. Definitely nothing to complain about there. Definitely no controversy or nothing this week. No weird, stupid challenges or anything like that. It was a pretty clean week, so I think we pretty much got everything covered.
Which I'm not against the weird challenges because they make for interesting conversation, but it's fun to see like the good old Schmoedown of just answering questions and not have up vein pop in the Harloff and having blood everywhere and then challenge and go back.
Yeah,
and you can
there have been a few times like you look like he was about ready to leap through the Zoom call and strangle people.
But so it feels good, just like good old Schmoedown, and let's hope it stays like that until like the bigger events, like a finals or a championship. Then you really go into challenges. But I personally think if might as well extend it. I think challenges shouldn't be applicable unless certain circumstances of matches, if it's in the semifinals or in the finals. But having another system to maybe correct little error, like evident errors, like real stuff errors, but going into the nitty bitty little things should only be reserved for certain specific types of matches, because then it's when you go in a nitty bitty itty, because the questions are very precise, right?
And but it's only certain players that do that though. Not everybody goes to the minutia.
But they're gonna have to find a way to control, because if not, if every match becomes like that, because their managers become that, it doesn't have to be the player, it has to be just the managers that have that mindset. Next thing you know, every match you're gonna have a Christian that wants to strangle someone, so they're gonna have to find a way to find the middle, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's just my 2 cents. It's when people keep saying, but it's not that hard doing a schedule. Like, you obviously haven't done a schedule. I can see Harloff saying, well, you haven't, you don't know how to manage a trivia league, sir.
Yeah, so no shit.
I'll leave it to his hands, but it's something I do see probably a problem in the future. All right, so Soda, that being said, we are done. Where can people find you?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxmet. You can find me as usual here doing this and the occasional other consultations, which we have an interview with none other than the Smasher Kevin Smith's dropping pretty soon. So definitely check that out. That was fun. We only got about him for about half an hour, but man, it was a fun half hour. And you could also find me over on my new show that I do with some other people called Get Sweaty over the Media Sweaty Network, where we talk about what happened in the week in movies, sports, and then we just have a long discussion about our favorite things. Last week we did our top 5 TV shows. This upcoming episode, we're doing our top 5 albums and the song we recommend the most from each album. So definitely check that out.
Nice. And me, probably around the same time or just a bit later, I did Northern Consultations with Brendan the Kid Meyer, and boy was it fun. He has so much to say. He has, not just Schmoedown, like movie career wise. So check that out. It's a very interesting look into who the kid really is as a player and as a person. And we have really interesting strategy talk. So go take a look at that. If not, look, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter, Norton Schmoes, and you can also